So this is a quick run through homeostasis. Big word, you need to know what it means. I wrote it here, I've written it here. How organisms maintain a constant internal environment. And we use a negative feedback mechanism. And all that means is that over time, you can see here this is time, in our bodies, things might get too low, like temperature, or they might get too high, and we have a desired normal that we want. However, we don't keep it perfectly normal. It's like wobbling around normal all the time. It's deviating from normal, and then we do something to bring it back to normal. And that's what negative feedback is. It's about maintaining the constant value by just tweaking it ever so slightly. So we've done about temperature regulation, about that when we're cold we will shiver to warm up, and when we're hot we'll sweat. And it's the same for control of blood glucose. I love these diagrams because they kind of do everything, I always think. So I've got normal blood glucose concentration here, and we're going to deviate it upwards and downwards. And to make blood glucose go up, I can just eat carbohydrates. If I eat sugars, it'll go up quickly. If I eat starches, it'll go up slower. And we need to know what detects it, and it's the pancreas. It's cells in the pancreas. So you've met the pancreas when you did about digestion. It makes protease, lipase, and amylase, but it's also got another region where it monitors blood glucose, and therefore, yeah, it's detected by the pancreas. Okay, and this secretes insulin. So I'm just going to put above here, this secretes insulin. And insulin is a hormone. It travels in the blood and it goes to every part of the body, but it only affects a certain target organ. And the organs it affects liver and muscle cells. So they're the only ones that respond to it. And they're going to basically reduce the blood glucose back to normal. And they do that by taking in glucose from the blood, and they kind of convert it into glycogen. So not kind of, they do. So if glucose is these little blobs, that's glucose. Glycogen will be those blobs just bonded together. And as soon as they're bonded together, they don't affect osmosis or anything. So that's stored in muscles and liver cells. Yeah, that's glycogen. If I joined it in a different way, I'd make starch. So yeah, insulin is a hormone. That's our hormone, and it causes the carbohydrate glucose to convert into the carbohydrate glycogen, a simple carbohydrate into complex carbohydrates. Let's just go through the lowering blood glucose. This is normally due to exercise. Some sprinting, and I use up all my blood glucose. In terms of what detects it, it's still the pancreas. And the pancreas still secretes something, but it needs to kind of secrete the hormone that has the opposite effect, and it's called, awkwardly, glucagon. So that's our other hormone, glucagon. This causes the liver, not muscle cells this time, to release its stores. So this is where glycogen, same as above, because we're still in the liver, gets converted back into glucose. And therefore we raise the blood glucose, and we therefore get back to normal. So yeah, this is called a negative feedback loop. A deviation from normal causes a response that brings it back to normal. And it might be a positive deviation, or it could be a negative deviation. It always works in the same way. Again, this could be normal body temperature, normal core body temperature, and we get hotter because we go into a sauna and then we sweat to bring the temperature down. So that's that. And then the only other thing that people missed, or you may have missed, or you're just watching for revision, is diabetes. We talk about type 1, type 2. Type 1 is childhood, predominantly childhood. Type 2, this is middle-aged, predominantly. It does depend on ethnicity. It's more likely in certain ethnic groups to happen at different times. Cause of type 1, this is the immune system attacks your own cells. So immune system attacks insulin making cells. Therefore, there's no insulin made. Therefore, the treatment is just insulin is injected. So again, the old method was that you'd have a meal, you'd work out how much carbohydrates and how fast you'd digest it, and then you would dial in on an insulin injector the dose of insulin needed to bring it back to normal. Very easy to get wrong. Now we have like glucose sensors that can just attach to the arm or the stomach and give like real-time measurements of blood glucose, and then people have like an insulin pump that will just like deliver the correct amount of insulin. Therefore, it keeps it far more within normal range once it's taken out of human control. Type 2, this is where it's not an immune thing, it's just like risk factors, and the major ones here is obesity. Obesity and it's like high sugar diet. Therefore, the treatment is the first treatment is controlling sugar intake. So controlling diet, e.g., less sugar. Because it's not as if they don't have insulin. It's just that the insulin is no longer effective. So this is just due to insulin no longer works. So they can still make insulin. It's just not having any effect anymore. So that's it. That was a quick 7 minutes of what we did in like an hour. So again, hopefully that was useful.